It's Tropical Freeze time! Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm talking top 3 games ever kind of shit. So naturally us, Press A, are going to talk about it. And it got me thinking, what are the best levels? And honestly, I'm not sure. But I do know the best kind of levels, and that's kart levels. Kart levels in Donkey Kong have been a staple from the very beginning. And in Donkey Kong Returns and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, we got the addition of the rocket levels. Think Flappy Bird, but crazier. So in this video, I'm going to rank the rocket and kart levels in Tropical Freeze. Let's go. Number 8, Twilight Terror, 3-5. Potential spoiler to this list, I much prefer kart levels over rocket levels, which is why it should be no surprise that I'm ranking a rocket level at number 8. And I'll also add that I love all 8 kart and rocket levels in this game, but Twilight Terror gets last as to me it's the least exciting. I love the theme of the level where you're riding through what appears to be this mass fishing village while avoiding these large and terrifying water snake-like dragon creatures. But nothing overly exciting happens. I also find it a relatively easy level, and personally I love a challenge to test my skills. I also don't like how there's 2 secret exits. Making me play the level again is fine, but to make me do it twice? Fuck you! But I do love the free fall into the water at the end, and can definitely appreciate the tribute to the best song in the Donkey Kong series, Stickerbush Symphony. Number 7, Reckless Ride, 5-2. Surprise! Another rocket level. If I haven't taken heat already for this list, then I'm sure I might now. But I don't find this level overly entertaining. I absolutely love the Fruit Factory theme and the Fruit Factory world, so it pains me that I don't like this level as much as the rest. Your main goal in this level is avoiding this chaotic penguin who is given too much power for a minion, while also avoiding fruits and other obstacles. But besides that, and a perspective change here and there, there's not really much else to it. And for a level that's in the 5th world, you'd expect this to be a bit harder. To be fair, if you're trying to collect all the puzzle pieces, it can definitely be a challenge. I mean, it definitely took me a while to realize there was a cannon hidden in the penguin's machine at the end. But my enjoyment while playing this level is just not the same as the rest on this list. Number 6, Trunk Twister, 1-4. Now I know there's people out there who don't like the basic, easy, first world levels, and to that I say, but I truly enjoy Trunk Twister. What's more fun than sliding down and around a giant tree? It's such a simple but fun theme that introduces you into the karting world of this game. And truthfully, it's not that easy if you're trying to collect all the letters. There's a moment where you must resist the urge to jump in order to collect the N, or master the skill of the high jump to get the G. And I love this clip at the end where you fall down and shake up the crates, only to continue racing across rising ships and broken tracks. This level proves you don't need to be over the top to be fun. Number 5, Rocket Rails, 7-2. Now, this might be a controversial level for this video, as you're equally in a rocket and kart as much as you're not in one. But considering it has both the rocket and kart, it counts. This is a world/level you can unlock after collecting all the Kong letters, and ultimately, relics in the game after beating the K levels. So you know it's going to be hard, and hard it is. This level requires you needing to know how to use the high jump, and when to duck and when to go up. And considering at any second you can fall to your death, it's crucial that you get those skills down. There's also no checkpoints in this level, which makes it that much harder, but so much more rewarding when you finally do win, which is why I enjoy this level so much. It's truly a challenge of the skills you develop throughout the game, but a fair challenge. Just try doing this level with Donkey Kong alone. That's when you know you mastered this game. And beyond the difficulty, the theme of the level is so unique. Ancient ruins in the sky? I mean, come on. Number 4, Rodent Ruckus, 2-B. God, Tropical Freeze really loved their rocket levels. This level focused heavily on its theme, which is an underground mouse cheese operation. The level is filled with cute little mice and all the cheese that would make someone lactose. But more importantly, it's so much fun! It's not as challenging as some of the other levels on this list, but I'd say it gives a fair share of a challenge. In one part, there's very little light, so you must use your recollection of the path you saw ahead of you for a short bit in order to navigate through, while still avoiding the mice and cheese. And then of course, there's the giant cheese. This giant circle of cheese tears up the course, throwing small pieces of cheese behind you for you to avoid, which eventually opens a small gap in the cheese itself which you must now try and survive in, until you eventually reach a floating cheese. Just so much cheese! Number 3, Blurry Flurry, 6-4. Now, I'd actually argue that Blurry Flurry is harder than Rocket Rails, especially if you're trying to collect all the puzzle pieces. I mean, right off the bat, you're expected to collect all these spinning bananas to get a puzzle piece. What makes this level stand out is how truly chaotic it is. Giant icicles falling from the ceiling as the ceiling completely collapses behind you. Very small pathways to navigate through. Dodging snowballs, both small and enormous. During your first playthrough, heck, even fifth, you'll probably not know where to go, as there's a lot of deciding whether to rocket up or down to avoid these obstacles. I don't remember how many times I died on this level before beating it, but like rocket rails, it's such an accomplishment when you do. And of course, the best part of the level is when you're in and controlling the giant snowball at the end. Sure, you're not in the rocket at this point, but it's part of the level, and to me, makes the level stand out from the rest, besides it being one of the most challenging. This is what Tropical Freeze is all about. Number 2, Sawmill Thrill, 2-4. This is tough for me. When I first started putting together this list, I thought for sure Sawmill Thrill would be my number 1, and I'm fairly confident it would be a lot of people's number 1. I mean, how could it not be? The story alone makes it top tier. You start in a raining forest, only soon to find yourself in Sawmill Factory where the music immediately changes the vibe of the level. You must duck and jump over saws, which eventually leads you to a log boat, which is something that we've never seen before in the series. And I absolutely love this part of the level. Riding this log with a storm going on in the background, the music changing once again but still intense. But my favorite part is the transition from the water section to the Sawmill Factory where music reaches its climax, just like those playing it. The saws are bigger, and one even breaks free and is now spinning towards your death, while it flicks pieces of wood for you to use as your new paths to the end. It truly is a masterpiece of a level, and if it was a movie, I'd give it an Oscar. But after reviewing these levels further, I've come to find this level didn't give me as big of a challenge as the number 1 spot. Visually and theme-wise, it's amazing, but I also feel that same way about my number 1, which is why I ultimately put Sawmill Thrill at number 2. And with that, the number 1 Kart and Rocket level is... Number 1, High Tide Ride, 4-2. High Tide Ride could easily be my favorite kart level, let alone just favorite level in general. It's a true masterpiece that takes you on a journey. You start on the sandy beaches where everything is calm. You start to think this will be a peaceful level that's all about the tropical views. Even when you're flying down the big ramp into a tunnel that leads under the water, you still don't expect anything. Sure, you have to jump over some sharks to get here, but the scenery is too beautiful. I mean, just look at that ocean water. And then, you enter the tunnel. The music changes, the pace picks up, and you need to maneuver the different tracks, jumping from one track to the other. Sharks bigger than you thought existed jump up and eat some of the tracks. You're looking around, what is this underwater temple? The music gets more intense, your hands start to sweat, the track is falling into place before your eyes, barricades pop up, forcing you to switch tracks, sharks eat pieces of the tracks, forcing you to switch tracks again, until you reach the final part of the level where you now have 5 tracks to maneuver. This level keeps you on your toes non-stop and requires nothing but quick action. I wish I could replay this level for the first time because it truly blew my mind. Honestly, this was very close with Sawmill Thrill for the top spot, but when it came to how a level made me feel, this level made me feel things you read about in books. Well, that's my ranking of the Kart and Rocket levels in Tropical Freeze. Like I said at the beginning, all these levels are amazing, and truly show why Tropical Freeze is a masterpiece of a game. Let me know how you would rank these levels. Until then, keep pressing A.